Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to Cricket Happenings here with your host Ram. Dear friends and subscribers, I have been under the weather for the last 3 or 4 days, and that's the reason that I am not able to bring this Cricket Happening show on a daily basis. Hope you all understand and are with me, dear friends and subscribers. And as you would see from my attire, you would know that I am still sick, and I am talking to you right now. Well, dear friends and subscribers, it has been a very tough period for me, but cricket is pretty dear to me, even though I am not bringing you the Cricket Happening show, but I keep myself abreast. I watch the matches and I've been enjoying them. But today it was a different enjoyment for me as far as cricket is concerned, because Pakistan went on to an unexpected victory today in Sharjah, which was the last match of this tour of the United Arab Emirates by Pakistan. And what a send-off to the to the coach of Pakistan, Dave Watmore, as Pakistan, absolutely determined from the word go, went on to win the match by 5 wickets. They were set a target of 302 runs to win the match, and they did it in style. In fact, one has to really commend them for their performance. 195 runs required in the final session of play on the final day, and Pakistan did it. Thanks to Sarfraz Ahmed providing some real pyrotechnics there, and then Azhar Ali coming in and making a very wonderful, normally that is against the nature of Azhar Ali, because Azhar Ali is more of a blocker, but if you look at his knock, it was a very well chiseled knock from him. He went on to score 103 with 6 boundaries, and then it was the cool as a cucumber Pakistani captain Misbah who was not out on 68 with 4 fours, and Misbah in a very nice manner dedicated this particular win to the outgoing Pakistan coach for the last 2 years, Dave Watmore. Paying tribute to him, Misbah said that it has been wonderful working with him in his post-press match conference. So just talking about this particular game here, it all started with, as you know, Sri Lanka were having a sort of a negative mindset all through this particular test match. Even when they started in this particular test match, they were pretty negative about themselves, and this was the approach that the Sri Lankan captain Angelo Matthews brought in, where he goaded his wards to see to it that they don't go for a win, but they actually draw this match. That negative approach for the 4 days really paid. It was doing well for him, and even into the first session of the final day's play also was proving good. But Pakistan, I would have to really give them the credit on a final day pitch where I wouldn't say there was a lot of wear and tear, but there was some wear and tear, something in for the spinners with some foot marks there outside the off stump. One has to, as I said, Pakistan had to be really commended. They were, in fact, Sri Lanka started off today, and they started off by with Matthews and Prasanna Jayawardene adding some runs again. They were really going. 59 runs they added, but they really went in a very slow motion in the first session. And once that was done, after that the wickets started falling. Angelo Matthews' wicket was taken by Mohammad Thala, Kotkuram Manzoor 31 with 4 boundaries. Prasanna Jayawardene was there almost till the end when he was gone for 49, and then the tail couldn't bag. Pereira out for 8, Herat out for duck and 3. It was all cleaned up by the left arm spinner Abdur Rahman, who did the trick there with 4 wickets for 656 for Saeed, for Abdur Rahman, the left arm spinner, 3 for 53 for Saeed Ajmal and 3 wickets to Mohammad Tala, who looked very good on his comeback to the Pakistan cricket team. 214 all out was the final score for Sri Lanka, which gave the second session to Pakistan to really go and make a fist of it. 302, but Pakistan, as I said, they were absolutely determined. They wanted to win this match. I'm sorry, please bear with me for my coughing and all. As I said, I am under the weather, but you know, this dear friends and subscribers that you have been very loyal to my cricket show, and I too love my cricket show. If I don't do my cricket show, well, I really feel a bit grieved about it, and you know, doing my cricket show is sort of a ritual for me. I have to do that because 2 days I couldn't really muster enough strength. But actually yesterday I did do my cricket show, but unfortunately due to YouTube problems the upload did not go through. In fact, I had even spoken about the New Zealand India one-day international match where New Zealand won the close international match by 24 runs. I had also talked about England's Ashes victory, Ashes one-day series victory over Australia, but unfortunately nothing went through. So that's the reason I came out today to speak to you, dear fans, friends and subscribers, and hopefully this particular YouTube broadcast goes through for my sake and your sake. Well, so Pakistan started off, they started off in breezy fashion. As I said, yesterday I told you that this match could become interesting, and that's precise. I mean, you would have not heard, but I had actually mentioned that on my YouTube broadcast, even though the video didn't go through. But now Khurram Manzoor and Ahmed Shahzad started off in breezy fashion, with Ahmed Shahzad hitting some boundaries of the bowling of Aranga, Khurram Manzoor slapping Akmal through the covers for 4, and both of them had put on 35 in good time in 7 overs, at least going at a clip of under 5 runs an over, a bit under 5, and then finally Surangal Akmal was the one who took the wicket of Ahmed Shahzad for 21 with 2 fours, and Khurram Manzoor was also sent back to the pavilion by Lakmal for 21 with 1 4. In fact, Lakmal was amongst the wickets, and then Yunis Khan came in and joined Azhar Ali. And Yunis Khan and Azhar Ali, what they did after 2 wickets were lost for 48, they decided to observe some restraint. And both the players, as you know, are very good defensive players, and what they did is they bided their time and they decided not to play any big strokes, but only wanting to a bit of steady the innings. They decided to take singles and twos, and that went on for quite a long time before before Angelo Matthews picked up the most important wicket. And at that time one would have never even expected that Pakistan could reach the target of 302. But when Yunis Khan fell, that was the time things turned. Yunis Khan, in fact, Sri Lanka would have been very happy that they saw the back of Yunis Khan pretty quickly. He was gone for 29 with 1 4, and the score was 97 for 3. And probably at that moment, Sri Lanka might have thought that Pakistan wouldn't definitely try to reach this target, because that would be something serious for them. But Pakistan, as I said, they were very determined. What they did is they decided to promote the wicketkeeper Sarfraz Ahmed to the crease along with Azhar Ali, and suddenly there was a sort of a real explosion as Sarfraz Ahmed strode onto the pitch. And from the very first ball he started, he decided to really throw caution to the winds, especially against the spinners, and he handled Rangana Herath very well. And in fact, as you know, the Sri Lankan captain Angelo Matthews has been having negative tactics all throughout this test match, and he had a packed leg side field, and he was bowling to Sarfraz Ahmed, and Sarfraz Ahmed was equal to the task. He actually gave himself room and converted the ball through the offside for boundaries. And then when he saw that Sarfraz Ahmed was hitting onto the offside, Sarfraz Ahmed once again also showed that he could also pierce the onside gap pretty well by hitting it over mid-wicket for a boundary, which really made Angelo Matthews, the Sri Lankan captain, wonder what is it that he needs to do to stop Sarfraz Ahmed with dealing with the spinners. And as I said, suddenly there was a real explosion. From the 21st over was when Yunus Khan went, and then Sarfraz Ahmed joined. So another 15 overs, there was wholesome entertainment for the spectators, as this was the time that Pakistan, because of the way that Sarfraz Ahmed batted, that is the time they would have thought that they definitely had an opportunity to win this match, because Sarfraz Ahmed really put the real thrust into the proceedings with a knockout 48 of 46 balls with 4 fours and 1 6 before becoming a victim of Lanka, as he actually got a tickle to a ball outside his leg stump, and Sarfraz Ahmed was gone. So once Sarfraz Ahmed was gone, so that was a big wicket for Sri Lanka. The score was 186 for 4, and then it was Misbah Haq who came in to join Azhar Ali. Azhar Ali, in the meanwhile, he was driving very well, he was sweeping very well, he was taking the singles and twos, he was rotating the strike, and Misbah Haq came in, and both of them again decided to do what Yunus Khan and Azhar Ali were doing, and both of them were doing very well. But the way they were doing, they were also seeing to it that the scoreboard was moving, and in the 195 runs in the final session was a big ask, and for Pakistan to do it, thanks to Sarfraz Ahmed, whose wonderful batting really came to the fore here. And then and I thought it was a very good promotion on the part of the Pakistan captain Misbah Haq to promote Sarfraz Ahmed and tell him to go for broke, and that's what he did. He really tore into Rangana Herath. 19 overs, no maiden, none for 100 for Rangana Herath, his bowling figures. Misbah Haq and Azhar Ali then combined. There were a lot of match, time wasting tactics employed by Sri Lanka, but of no avail, as the way Misbah Haq really constructed his innings, and along with Azhar Ali, both of them growing in confidence, and Azhar Ali was looking very good. As I've said, Azhar Ali, according to me, means a lot to Pakistan. He was the man of the match for getting 103 runs, his 5th test match century, and I wouldn't see any test match as far as Pakistan is concerned without Azhar Ali. And Azhar Ali is an youngster, and one would definitely love to see Azhar Ali always in this Pakistan team, because I have always been wondering why Azhar Ali is not a certainty for test matches. According to me, he should be an automatic, he should be a permanent fixture in test matches. That's the way he plays. But today, the way he played, as I said, it is something which is very unusual to Azhar Ali, because Azhar Ali is normally a person who plods, and Azhar Ali to score a century in just 2 sessions is something marvelous according to me. And Azhar Ali scored 103, and he was the prime architect of this win. But that partnership really started blossoming, and it went to 111 runs before Azhar Ali, after making his 5th one-day international century, after making 103, was a victim of Lucknow, caught behind with 6 boundaries, but he had done his job. And then, cool as a cucumber, captain Misbah Haq provided the icing on the cake for Pakistan by getting the winning hit, and that was all over. He was unbeaten 68 with 4 boundaries. Shafiq was not out on 1, 302 for 5. And Pakistan, according to me, had done the impossible thing. Nobody would have expected that Pakistan could have won this match. But Pakistan, one thing that I would like to say, Angelo Matthews, the Sri Lankan captain, was absolutely negative in his tactics, but Misbah Haq, the Pakistan captain, was absolutely positive in his tactics. And finally, positivity won over negativity. And bowling figures, Lakman 3 for 79, 1 for 68 for Ranga, 148 Matthews. Rangana Herath, well, he proved on a last day page, one would have expected Rangana Herath to get some purchase with those footmarks, but I thought the Pakistan players really adapted themselves very well. They batted very intelligently against the spin of Rangana Herath, and they blunted him, especially Sarfraz Ahmed, who took guard outside the leg stump and thwarted Rangana Herath's plans of bowling on the rough outside the leg stump. And that was it. And Pakistan and Sri Lanka sharing the one-day series. That was the end of the tour of the United Arab Emirates for Sri Lanka. The man of the match went to Azhar of Pakistan with a very cool century, and I think it would have been his best century. And Pakistan and Sri Lanka squaring the Test series 1-1. Angelo Matthews, the player of was the player of the match, player of the series for Sri Lanka, which was absolutely well deserved because he contributed with bat a lot of times and also with ball, and that was the reason he was given player of the series. Well, dear fans, friends, subscribers, well, from here I will like to talk about some news. The Australian Test squad has been selected for the tour of South Africa, which is coming up. And just talking about Sri Lanka, well, Sri Lanka have a tour of Bangladesh now, and the Test squad that has been selected, well, it was absolutely certain that George Bailey, who did dismally in the series against England, would be out, even though he had a record number of runs and all, as you remember. But George Bailey has definitely, his head was supposed to roll, it rolled. But the most surprising thing to happen as far as the Test squad is concerned is the inclusion of Shaun Marsh. Now, Shaun Marsh, if you one look at his domestic record, he has not had a lot of runs. He has had only 275 runs, as the statistics say, and he has been selected. It has become, but well, Phil Hughes has lost his opportunity, even though he has scored some runs in the domestic circuit. But Shaun Marsh, probably on the dint of his 71 that he hit against England the other day in the third one-day international, probably has clinched his chance. Well, so Michael Clarke captain, Brad Haddin the vice captain, Jackson Bird is there, Alex Doolan is getting an opportunity. Alex Doolan has always done well against pace bowlers, and that's the precise reason Alex Doolan has been knocking on the doors of Australian cricket for quite some time now. And James Faulkner, Ryan Harris, Mitchell Johnson, who is an absolute key, Shaun Marsh, Nathan Lyon, James Pattinson is back, Chris Rogers, Peter Cyril, Stephen Smith, David Warner, and Shane Watson. They're all automatic inclusions. But that was the only thing that I wanted to say about Shaun Marsh's selection. But well, they decided to go for Shaun Marsh. They also selected the T20 squad for England, and there are two names which are figuring. One is they have sprung a surprise here. John Ruddy, the manager of Cricket Australia, has decided to blood in the 20-year-old leg spinner Muirhead. He's the leg spinner, and I'm told he turns the leg break pretty well, and so he has been given an opportunity. He has been selected for the T20s against England. And also the hard hitter of the ball, Chris Lynn, has been inducted into the T20 squad. They are going to play 3 T20 matches, as you know, against England, and these are the two new faces, and this has been done precisely to have a look and see which is the best combination that they could select for the T20 World Cup, which is coming up shortly in Bangladesh, hopefully. Well, well, just keeping on the news, as you know, New Zealand winning that close contest against India by 24 runs at McLean Park in Napier, and also England already have clinched the Ashes, the one-day series now 3-0, and they have nothing to lose now, and England are the ones who are the demoralized lot. As far as New Zealand and India were concerned, well, New Zealand made 292, and India, even though Virat Kohli was playing his first ever match on New Zealand soil, that was absolutely superb adaptation by Virat Kohli to make his 18th one-day international century, 123 of 111 fours and 2 sixes, and 292 was the score that they had to chase, and everything looked under perfect control when Dhoni and Kohli were at the crease with a score on 224. But after that, it was a total collapse by the Indians, as 44 runs, and that was all over. And that was a spectacular collapse, I would say, with Mitchell McClenaghan, who also always has the knack of picking up wickets. Picking up wickets of bags of 4, which he once again did. And the short ball, and the Indian batsmen were really tested against the short ball, and that's what proved their downfall. Australia steamrolling England in the third one-day international and taking a 3-0 lead in the series. And as I said, they have nothing to lose now, and England are looking an absolutely demoralized lot. Nothing seems to be going right for England. Well, dear fans and subscribers, I did my best, even though I was under the weather. but I thought I'll definitely come and speak to you, dear fans and subscribers. And thanks for all your support, and thanks for patiently watching this Cricket Happening show and waiting for me to come on to this Cricket Happening show. Your host Ram will like to take leave now, but promising you, if my health permits, I'll once again be back. But well, my health, even if my health does not permit, well, I'll try my best as I did today to come back. But as I said, I have been under the weather for the last 4 days. I've not been even reporting to office because of this. But well, dear fans and subscribers, always a pleasure to bring you this Cricket Happening show and share my cricketing thoughts on this particular Cricket Happening show. And with a congratulations to the Pakistan cricket team for defeating Sri Lanka in the United Arab Emirates and drawing this test series 1-1. Your host Ram would like to end the cricket show for today. Thanks for your company and thanks for your patience. This is Ram, your host of Cricket Happenings, returning you back to the studios. Thank you.